use is called Cabasa, tiny musical instrument. Because I normally will use that anytime I want to. The shaker that you hear in Amapiano now, that is Cabasa. So I will normally use that from way back then. No. So there was, when he started calling me Cabasa, initially I was like, why would you be calling me Cabasa? Because I use an instrument. So the name was becoming more popular with me, that I had to look for another meaning to it. And the meaning I gave to it was this, that look, if you look at my stature, I look skinny, the unassuming guy. So I saw myself as the unassuming skinny guy that is in that big industry that you cannot do music without having me in you. Right. So I had to put that meaning to it, and I had to adopt the name. Yeah.
Wow, brilliant.
And you know, your name from, as Jeffrey said, you know, the old time has been a fixture in many songs, and that was how we started the conversation. You know, how when those hit songs come, we hear Id Cabasa, Lord of Ajasa, and you know, your name is on Gongwaso, Totori, Omoto Chon. Is it Sean? Yeah. So when those songs come to you, or is it you that discovers the song? How do you identify the hit, or can you make any song a hit because you are Id Cabasa?
To be sincere with you, it will be a huge lie if I tell you you will know a song that will become a hit. You can know a good song, you can know, in quote, a sweet song, but what makes it a hit? Acceptance. You can make the best of songs that if people don't accept it, you just keep saying it to yourself that and it's such a good song, but people will tell you it's not really a hit. When you look at it, you are looking at numbers. You understand how many people are vibing to the song, how relevant or impactful is the song with people. So at the end of the day, as a music producer, your work is to make sure that you create potential hits. Potentials are not guaranteed. That is one thing I normally would tell people, that, but you as a person, you create potentials in every song that you want to create, that to make sure that, okay, the song is simple, the song is relatable. You are not trying to impress your fellow musicians, you are trying to impress the crowd, I would call it. And the crowd has to do with a lot of people that don't understand music, but they also want to pick up what you are doing. So that part of being simple is major, because if you look at the biggest song in the world today, Happy Birthday to You, Happy Birthday to You, nursery rhymes and all of that, don't be unnecessarily too, I won't use the word deep, don't be unnecessarily too complex, trying to be deep. Because depth itself is supposed to be you actually breaking down what is supposed to be complex to make it simple. That is depth. But when you complicate things all in the name of, I want to sound so good that nobody can actually do, you might not be able to create a hit song doing that.
I'm sorry, you have to say that line again. Depth is...
What did I say? I won't forget it, but I think I know, I understand what I just said. So depth is not you appearing complex. Depth is not complexity. Depth is actually being able to explain something that is supposed to be complex in a simple time that everybody understands.
So simplifying complexity.
Yes.
Brilliant.
So if you can get that done, I believe as a musician, as anything, not just even as a musician, you'll be able to reach people.
Fantastic. So it cuts across. Because we've always thought, let me sound deep, let me sound complex. Because when people hear me use all those big words, and come on, that's not depth, apparently.
That's not depth.
Before you came up, we were talking about how, you know, producers used to be on the back end of sorts. But apparently that has changed now. Producers are now more on the front end of things. And you, in quote, became famous. You're still famous, I should say, during that time where producers were still more on the back end. And I think that's why we had to have signatures on the song. Yeah. So you know that's my song. So it's not just the artist you're listening to. You also know that Id Cabasa produced it. I don't know how far we have come, but you can help us understand how far we've come. Have we now gotten to a point where producers are getting the piece of the pie that they really and truly deserve? Not just now, but over time. Do you still get royalties, for example, for songs you did then? And even now, are producers now fairly treated in that sense?
So I think the points where producers started becoming famous actually started from my own generation. Myself, Don Jazzy, Cobhams, Prophecy, and all of that. That people started paying attention to what we were also doing. Because like for me, it would be very hard to say, okay, this particular artist made Id Cabasa. It was because this artist jumped on his beat. That was why we knew Id Cabasa. No, rather it was more of, this guy has some insane beats, and these artists, so you could trace my work to what I do, not really to anybody. And it has even evolved so much now that people now look at producers from the same way they look at artists. Are they being fairly treated? Is a process. It's getting to a place that I can say, personally, I'm happy, because a whole lot of the young guys that are doing stuff now, they are getting well paid. When I started, everything goes to the artist. You get paid peanuts when you are in the studio, and when the song becomes big, everything goes to the artist. I was privileged, I would say I was lucky to have worked with certain people, the likes of Olumide, Nice, Reminisce, and all of those guys, that they were also human. They knew the imperfect nature of the industry then, and were making, should I use the word, they were making plans for, okay, if the industry does not really have a way of rewarding this guy, we have to also look for ways to reward this guy, especially Olumide. So when the industry formed, that we now get paid royalties and all of that, I had to talk to people like my lawyer, which is why I advise every artist to actually get a lawyer before you get a manager. To set a system, a proper system, that all the works that I've done in time past, I can still get my royalties from them. Then the new ones that I've started, that I'm doing now, I'm still getting paid royalties from. And even the ones that I don't plan to do, that people will use what I have done to do, I still get paid royalties on. So the industry is forming, and it's forming well.
So,
amazing.
I know you run Coded Tunes, Coded Tunes Enterprise and all of that. There's been a running battle since we're talking about a record label. I remember recently, I know UMG and Maven Records signed a new deal with majority stakes going to UMG and all the Don Jazzy issues. But there was an argument online as to how much an artist is getting, and some people started arguing back and forth when you look at what the record label is spending on the artist. When you factor a lot of the variables, you can see that who is really cheated and who is not cheated. So in your own view, I know you've commented on this a lot of time. In fact, you mentioned the fact that some of the reasons why record labels are failing. How do we find a better nexus between this relationship between record labels and artists so that everybody feels, okay, we're being fairly treated? The record label owner is not feeling like I'm losing money to this artist. The artist is not feeling like I'm being exploited, as it is said.
So I think accountability is the word. If we can be accountable to, if I'm spending X amount of money, I'm not coming to the table to pad it, that I'm not inflicting the figures that I'm spending. And you as the artist, your expectations need to be managed too. So the major issue that normally happens starts from the place of signing contracts. I have begged, I have screamed, I have done everything that I can do within my power to actually talk to majorly artists that, look, your greatest word when you're on the negotiation table, your greatest power is the ability to say no. If you don't know how to say no, you will eventually sign off your life. So most of them come to the table with desperation. What they have seen over time is Olumide is buying X amount of house, Davido is doing this, Wizkid is doing that. So once I become an artist, I should be able to do this, I should be able to do that. So they get into the industry, somebody is offering them something, and all they want at the end of the day is, okay, if I'm comfortable, if I live somewhere in Lekki and I have a car and this guy is promising to actually do this, do that for me, I'm fine. But you are thinking of now, you are playing a finite game that you know the end. You are not thinking of what can come afterwards. So you are selling off your value, which is actually much. Most of them don't really know what they carry, what they have in their hand. Your social media is actually a value proposition when you get to that table. So many other things. So you come to the table and I ask you, what do you want? Most times the answer they give to you is where the problem starts from. They tell you, I want a car, I want a house, I want this, just give. So I will tell you that, okay, I will give you this, I will give you that, then I will give you 20%. Is that fine? They will tell you, yes, it is fine. Yeah. Now, the guy that is asking to give you 20% and if he is taking 80%, is not giving you a bad contract. You are the one that is making the bad decision. So at the end of the day, I ask them, go get a lawyer, look at the value you are bringing to the table compared to what the record label is bringing. Sometimes some artists actually bring more to the table than the record label. Sometimes the record label, the only thing they bring to the table is just money. But thank God for great labels like even what Don Jazzy and Co are running, that they bring beyond money. They bring a system that works, which is what I will advise any artist to actually go for. If you know they have a system that works, that is bringing more to the table beyond what you can do for yourself, I am sure getting 10-20% of a huge sum is better than getting 100% of something that is very minute, that you can't really do much with. But when it gets to because it's an ecosystem. It's not just the record label that makes off all of those money, because I'm spending, and music business is very expensive now. If I'm spending on music videos now, don't let me quote the figure before people come after.
You're free to call the figure.
You are spending averagely like $20,000-$25,000 on a music video, and I'm very intentional with that word average, because it's more than that in most cases. You are spending that, and to promote, let's use the word promoting a song now, both on social media and all of that, you are spending like $30,000. On one artist, you are spending almost $70,000. Convert that to Naira, and the day the artist gets a show that they are paying him, let's say 5 million Naira, and is having a 2 million Naira take home, starts complaining that. Now, I'm not saying that all of these things are the fault of the artist, because there are also some record labels that are strictly business-oriented without soul behind it.
You don't want to say wicked.
I have a friend that they call the wicked producer. So
I get it.
Right? We use wicked. So they are actually wicked, that all they want to do is to. The music business is meant to be exploited, but they want to abuse you as a person, that they don't really care how you fare, they don't care about what you bring to the table. So at the end of the day, all of these things has to do with the emotions. The logic behind it is get a lawyer. The lawyer is talking, your lawyer is talking, you are putting preposition on the table, they are putting, and in fact, the answer that should be at the back of your mind should not be just say yes, yes. Be ready to say no. No to this particular one. No to, so if they now agree, and we both agree, then we can go with contracts.
Yeah, that's another deep one. 10% of a big deal is better than 100% of a tiny deal. Yeah. I got that line. To another aspect of the debate, which is, what we always talk about, the OG versus the new Gs. And
there are no new Gs, they're just OGs.
well, there's a new generation, Jeffrey.
They call it new cats.
Well, whatever you decide to call it.
OGs and cats.
And it's about the pressure to produce the hit song. Okay. In a different way, asking, what is happening to the OGs? Why are the hit songs not coming? Is it the pressure to produce hits and the hit songs are not coming, or is it an early retirement for them?
So I think this conversation I've had with some people close to me, and I think it starts from your psyche. You must first tell yourself that you will not always be number one. I'm a Christian, and that's, funny enough, I found in the Bible that the crown will not last forever. That is to say, you will not always be the number one. If that is at the back of your mind, you will not play to blow. Rather, you will play to shine. And I was saying this on Saturday, that when you play to shine, it's a long game. I'm not playing in the Premier League just to win the Premier League. I want to also play to still stay in the Premier League. Most people are playing to always want to win. So every time they don't get to win, they lose out. They might even, I support Chelsea football, unfortunately.
It is well.
It is well. Most people don't, that pressure of always wanting to win, not wanting to just be there and also be relevant. They always want to be number one. That is one of the issues that I saw. Then there's also this part of experience that I know how it's being done. Unfortunately, experience is what has worked. Inspiration is what will work. I keep saying that the experience is a comb life has given to you after you have lost your hair. So to stay, yes, unfortunately.
I dare not laugh at that one.
No, I understand. I know. I think I get that. Right. So you don't. Yeah, that it has worked in a particular way doesn't mean it will always work in that particular way. The creative industry is a place that changes per time. So most of them stop learning. Most of them stop learning. Most of them still want to do it the way they've always been doing it. Like for me, my greatest strength is to sit down and sit with these young cats, like we call them. By the way, my age might be my generation, but I'm Gen Z. My mindset, I want to sit down with you. You are talking vibe now. What do you mean by vibe? You are saying this now. What do you guys mean by this thing that you're saying? Talk to me. Let me see what you are feeling in this particular thing. Even if I can't feel it, there's nothing bad in me asking you to do it for me. So that I'm working on an album now, and I can tell you, Olumide is actually the one that I'm going to more like an A&R person. That Ola, do you think this song makes sense? Do you think this song will fly? And all of that. There is nothing. See, Yoruba people will say that the old is wise, the young is powerful. That is how they built Ife. We need the experience of the old and the strength of the new to actually create. We should not be replacing ourselves. We should be having a sort of
collaboration.
Yeah, you understand? So that you will know. And most of the, from recent podcasts that I started seeing some of our old cats, a lot of them need to be healed. A lot of, they need healing, sincerely. They need healing. And most of what people are blaming people for were their fault.
That's a lot to chew on, really, because and I think it's important to keep having this conversation because there's a lot we can do together. We can have you for the next 1 hour. I will never get tired. I was just seeing one of your posts, and you said that you're working on a new album. Yeah. Olumide is A&R, but will there also be a voice? Will there be a voice on it?
Olumide is on it. I did a song recently with Vector. Right. Okay, the album is, which is what we're talking about. I said I'm reimagining old songs. I'm picking some of those songs.
So Vector sampled some things from...
I did Photocopy with Vector. Yeah. Photocopy was Nice's song. Yeah. Probably I should this would be the first time I'm letting the cat out of the bag.
As an old cat.
I am actually reimagined Olufumi.
By Style Plus.
Yes, I reimagined Olufumi, and I can say it now because in 2 weeks' time, the song will be dropping. And the only thing I will keep secret for now are the 4 guys that are on the song. I can tell you that those 4 guys on the song are top young cats.
I'll mention 5 names, and I'm sure 3 will be. It's either Rema.
Are we having the actual composers of the song, the Style Plus themselves?
So Style Plus, I sampled their chorus. I created the new beats, and this is me trying to bring the old to the new. I did a new beat, what people would listen to now. And I put the chorus on it, still have the new guys sing the chorus, then new verses, new expression.
All right, totally out of time. Look, I'm tempted to continue, but we can't continue. Because I wanted to ask whether some songs, if you try to remake it, it's going to be a desecration. Maybe songs like Cabasa. Just leave it like that. Just leave it.
I agree with you.
Don't desecrate it.
Don't leave it.
Id Cabasa.
We don't have enough time.
We don't have enough time to talk to you, but
we have to do this again.
Yeah, no problem. But I leave her.
Mr. Olumide Ogunade, thank you so much. CEO of Coded Tunes Africa. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Well, that's it on the program. We hope you had a great time. The wisdom of Cabasa is what we've been exploring in the last minute of the show. We'll be back again tomorrow for the last leg of the week. I'm Jeffrey Uzama.
Don't forget, Sunrise Daily comes up in just a few minutes, so stay on with us. Thank you for watching. I am Bukola Koka.
So whether you're old cat, new cat, or up-and-coming cat, keep it simple, man. Don't complex things up. I'm Kayode Okikile. Goodbye. Bye-bye.